Today is July 3rd, 2024, Wednesday. It's 10:20 a.m. in the morning. This morning, when I was drinking my coffee, I was reading this book, That's on My Heart by Thich Nhat Hanh. This morning, I did a Buddha meditation, which I do quite a bit. This is actually the Buddha picture, and these are gratitude cards that over time in the last several months, I wrote a lot of them, and some of them my daughter wrote, some of them my husband wrote. They're not so big into it. I maintained it mostly. Some days I just speak the gratitude in the mornings. Today I have not written it. It actually does work better when we write it down. But I do a lot of other things, so sometimes I do visit. I do puja. This here is actually Shiva tapestry. Shiva tapestry that I got from Amazon, and this is known as God Balaji, and over there I have a little Shiva family picture, a little one over there, also got from Amazon. It's actually been a while that I made longer videos in the mornings. I think last Monday, June 24th, after Alice had the surgery, the days were a little different because Alice stayed home all week. She didn't go to summer school, so this week she started going. She's actually more happy that way because kids like to play with other kids. Tomorrow is July 4th, so she'll be home. We might try to make it a bucket filler day by doing something interesting, playing. So she and I have been saying that we will celebrate Christmas in July. We don't really know what we would do. I think I'm thinking we might draw Christmas trees. Normally around Christmas in December, she and I do that. So we might try to do something like that sometime during the day. And she wants to watch that A Little Boy Called Christmas on Netflix. So sometime during the day or in the evening, tonight or tomorrow night, I don't know, we might watch that movie with popcorn or something. She likes the movie nights with popcorn at home, which is a good thing because my husband and I, over the years, we learned to enjoy the little things, and lately probably we're not doing that much, which we should do. But anyways, so I'm trying to teach Alice a lot of those. My husband also like enjoying the little things in life because, you know, the going to a trip is great, but we can do only a few trips a year, even if we try hard. Sometimes we end up doing one trip, and with COVID, we couldn't almost do any trips. And recently, we went in March, and we were planning for a trip this month. Didn't happen, but anyway, hopefully we can do soon enough a quick one next month in August before she starts school. Either a glamping trip or something else, not sure what, but hopefully a quick one. And maybe in fall we can do another one. Alice loves trips and I do too, so those are like a huge bucket filler. But we should be able to do something at home or little things, because those little things are really, really important. Yesterday, when I was working through a workbook, part of it is to learn effective parenting skills. In that, they talked about how, and there was a TED Talk, connecting with kids, talking with kids, and playing is so important. They talk about how the development of the brain is so important by the age 5. But even after that, they said that our neurons in our brain build even before we die. So they keep building even at the age of 80. And the research that Joe Dispenza has, he says that we can even change our DNA formation with meditation and thinking and stuff like that. So I believe that, and that we can change our being, we can change ourselves and our reality and everything at any age. So it all goes with our beliefs. So anyway, so trying to teach Alice a lot of those, and she gets excited with these books. I also got this one yesterday, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital World. It's a 100 years old book. I think it was written in 1937. This book, the rules in this books are still very valid, even though it's so old. I think what is the added advantage of this book is it says in the digital age, so it covers how social media could impact the relationships, which was not there 100 years ago. So I have listened to this books many times, maybe 40, 50 times back in 2019, 2020, and applied a lot of these rules at work. Some people would say that this could be a little bit like manipulation. I don't necessarily think that way. I think it's more about, it teaches you how to be nice to people, simply, like how to be nice and how to be kind, especially when they are not nice to you. And that goes with any kind of teaching, even with Buddhism, right? So it's easy to be kind and compassionate towards the people who are always nice to us. The real test is to be kind and compassionate towards people who are not kind to us, who does not show the compassion, who does not reciprocate the feelings when we showed them the compassion in the past or in the present. Our expectation, right? So when our expectation doesn't meet, and then we get triggered, and those are the things that we can control. So it's all about the whole self-help industry. The way I look at it is like about teaching good communications and our thinking and feeling. Yesterday I know I'm getting lots of different books, but these are some way I am trying to learn and kind of heal myself from the trauma that I went through in the recent past. Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, and the foreword is written by Deepak Chopra, who has written almost 100 books, also endorsed by Satya Nadella, Arun Gandhi, who is Mahatma Gandhi's grandson, Tony Robbins, Marianne Williamson, John Gray, Jack Canfield, who was in the Secret movie. Also, he wrote the series Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dr. Thomas Gordon, and others. I wish I got this book a lot earlier. I'll be honest, what deterred me in the past to get this book was I thought nonviolent communication means if I buy that book, that means I'm a violent person. Deep inside us, we all have anger, sadness. The way we express it is different for different people. And the way we learn to express it a lot of time is to do with how we grew up in our environment, and when we were young, how we were encouraged to do so, or more than encouraged, what we have seen in our surroundings, and culture plays a big role to it. And I think when kids are kids see two different distinct culture, it sometimes could get confusing. Like in our case, Alice, I grew up in India. I was there until mid-20s. And my husband, Bill, he grew up in Maine in the United States. All his life, he lived pretty much in a small town. He moved to DC for work. But both of our upbringings were very different. I was one of 6 kids and he was the only child. So the way we try to teach Alice things are very different. And a lot of parents say that, and the therapist would say that 2 people would never be the same. 2 people will never teach a parent exactly the same. But I think the good thing is that we both are actually trying to learn from books, from online, how to be a better parent. And our little kid Alice, I think she inspires us a lot to do that. I'm so grateful for that, because kids are kids. Sometimes they will throw tantrum, and which Alice does too, quite a bit. But she reads this book sometimes and then she underlines. The other day she told me if she could underline some things from this book. So this is the part she underlines. First I said no, because she was underlining 2-3 different books, and then I was actually curious. I was like, it'll be actually a good thing for me to see her to underline, because then I will kind of know what she's thinking. So this is the part she underlined. There are some of the quotations where at the beginning of the book, so one person who's a professor at Berkeley, director of the Authoring Belongs Institute of UC Berkeley, Professor John Powell. So he wrote, how is it, this is the part I was underlined, how is it that a Vietnamese Buddhist monk who teaches mindfulness could inspire Martin Luther King and become one of the great nonviolent activists of the 21st century? I'm glad that Alice understands some of it. I think a lot of it, sometimes some of the words, I know that it's too complicated for her. Like yesterday we were reading this How to Relax book from Thich Nhat Hanh, and in that book there was a part where they talked about meditation, like how from meditation you get the concentration, and from concentration you get insight. Now, I asked her if she understood what the word insight means. She said she didn't completely understand. So I knew what insight meant, but I didn't know how to explain it to a kid, 8-year-old kid. So I looked up, I told her, so let me look it up so that I can explain it to you. So I looked up, and then I figured it's like the deep understanding, and which was actually good for me too. I started speaking English after, well, since my college days, but it was not much in India. But here, when I came 2005, so in the last 19 years, is when I started speaking real English. And in the beginning, there used to be a lot of mistakes. My accent used to be different, and grammar used to be wrong. Now, I don't know what accent I speak in. I think it's kind of in between Indian and American. I just let it flow the way it goes. I don't try to be anything. I don't try to speak like Indian. I don't try to speak like American. It's just the flow that it goes with. It might be a little bit more American-ish because my husband is American and we speak English all the time at home. He and I have been together for 13 and a half years. So anyway, so these days I think the English words come to my head more easy than my own mother tongue. We call it in India Bengali, or the Indian national language Hindi, which I used to be more fluent in. But anyway, so it's interesting how these things, meditation, concentration, and insight. So as I was looking through it last night, coming back to the topic, insight is deeper understanding, right? So in another way, like in a different book, I think was The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's the same message, but how? This is the book, Your Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy. I'm actually reading all these books little by little. It's like parallelly I'm reading all of these books. I don't know why I'm doing that, not like finishing one, then going to the next. I'm rather reading little by little different books. So he says it's just like meditation, where you start the meditation, you quiet your mind. You don't necessarily empty your mind, but let your thoughts pass through. And that way your mind actually stays more clear, as you're not suppressing thought. Then you can concentrate on a particular thing. Eventually, with practice with meditation, it happens, your mind gets quiet and your concentration becomes sharp, number 2. And number 3 is where it's like the insight, the deeper understanding. This is where the number 3 space is where your subconscious connects with the universe, the God, or anything that you believe in. And that is where you can get the message. Sometime when people can see vision from the future, or ability to know which is a good path, they have this strong feeling or something that comes from that when you can connect into, when you are having that insight. So when we start the meditation, it doesn't happen on day 1. Meditation, concentration, insight, to get to that connecting with that deeper level, it takes a while. And the unfortunate thing is, say we get there, it's not permanent. It goes away if we don't practice. It's just like, in some way, easier way to think about it is like going to the gym. Speaking of that, I need to lose 10 to 15 pounds. Probably I should go to the gym and do more, be more physically active. When you go to the gym, eat healthy, then our body weight is normal. Same thing with our mind. When we feed our mind good thoughts and we take positive action, we speak positive, then our mind is healthy. The challenging part is, because we don't see our mind, we forget that part. The other day, so I named my subconscious, and the other day jokingly I was telling Alice that, I named my subconscious. Do you want to name your subconscious too? And I think she named her subconscious something. I can't remember now. I have to ask her again. Because I think when we put a name to it, it becomes more prominent to remember, because it's almost like an object. And that concept I actually learned a little bit from one of the book from Michelle Obama. In her second book, she gives an example of a guy, her friend's husband, I think, who every morning he gets up and looks at the mirror and he says, "Hey buddy," to himself, and says good things about himself. And it's basically he's talking to his subconscious. So because before we try to be friends with anybody or influence anybody, like that Dale Carnegie book says, we have to influence our own mind. We have to be very good friends with our own mind. If we can do that to ourselves, if we can be kind and nice to ourselves, how can we be kind and nice to others? It's easier said than done, because I know that last several months I've been trying, and I'm learning more and more, and I'm so grateful for that I'm continuing in this journey of learning and growing. Some days are easier than others, but I'm grateful that I'm guiding myself towards the light, and hopefully my daughter Alice, when she grows up, she will have some good memories of these two. She likes the books and things, different things we do before going to bed. We play with the rocks, and the rocks have those good writing. It has like gratitude, kindness, blessings, harmony, family, all of those things, different rocks we play with, different things. And every night she comes up with new games. Last few nights we are playing similar, but we have been doing that for weeks now, and it's pretty fun. Anyway, so I think from the Buddha meditation the night before, I got the message to stick with the at least the reading of Thich Nhat Hanh book, 10 pages a day. I think that keeps my mind very focused, and I'm gonna do that. I read a few pages and then I got distracted and doing something else, and which is so normal in life. But I gotta be more focused. And last night, this early morning actually, I did the Buddha meditation again, and every time I do that, I get a message based on the question I ask to the Ascended Master Buddha. So this morning my question was, with all this life circumstances or challenges or whatnot, how can I remember to always respond, not react, and in the midst of all the challenges, how can I manage my own emotions so that I can speak positive, I can be kind, like the book, The Nonviolent Communication, which is actually compassionate communication. That's what he says in the book, Marshall Rosenberg. But it's interesting that he didn't name the book that way. He used the word nonviolent communication because I think that's what in our brain that gets stuck. If you say compassionate communication, I think the book probably, when we even sold the book, people will forget the name. But anyway, that's a different thing altogether. But yeah, so the message was the simple, I wanted to think a simple word, a simple message, and it was from Buddha. The message I got is always be kind. So irrespective of the situation, always be kind, and that was very simple. So that's what I'm going to practice today and throughout, hopefully, that changes my reality even in a better way in coming days, weeks, months, and years. Okay, so with that, I'll take a few deep breaths and finish this video. Probably I'll make a couple more later in the day.